Alrighty, let's go. I'm excited.
We ready
So
to do this?
yeah, I'm so glad Janice is here to like give us the real thing here. So
Yeah.
I know like Diana, you know Janice, you know that she's the one that created all of this stuff. So and Tom's kind of her little puppet over there saying all this stuff. Uh, Not really. I'm just kidding. I'm giving Tom a hard time.
No.
But truly, Janice is the one that has put the time, the effort, the brain power into this material and creating it and passed it on with many people. But so I'm glad that you came on, Janice. I know this is not your favorite thing to do, but thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
I mean, just for the record, a lot of the nerdy, parts of this book, Janice was a driving force behind it. Did another book on chemical-free cleaning, which is a lot of science and hygienic cleaning in this as well. And somehow I got my name on it, but this is really work that Janice did as well. If you ever go to Modern Cleaning and read the blogs, and some of those go back 10 years or more, but there's really some awesome stuff there that still gets a lot of traffic with people. They rank really high in natural search because it's information on the science of cleaning, and it's a big part of her gig, and it makes us all better, and it's a big part of this program. So that being said, I want to start off by just talking about why is the professional house cleaning program important, and I want us to think about what a job is versus what a profession is. Most of us who start off in the house cleaning industry, cleaning homes, for pay, start off as a job. But if you think about it, the bar for a job is rather low. We're looking for people who probably have a driver's license, who maybe can pass a drug test, have a clean, background check, maybe a good driving record. If they've ever had, previous employment and demonstrated that, they can go to work on a regular basis, that's a plus. But for most of the people who start off in this industry, that's pretty much the criteria for being hired for that job. That being said, that's just a starting point. Once you're there, there's a tremendous amount of trust that is placed on people that are cleaning homes. You think about everything from just having a key to the house to the hygienic cleaning portion of this and preventing disease, to trusting that we're not going to poison the cat, we're not going to damage the countertops, so we're going to remember to lock the door. You'd be hard pressed to find another service industry that has that level of responsibility that every one of our cleaning professionals has. So that's really at the heart of why professional house cleaning is really important, because if you look at how the world looks at house cleaning, you could argue that it's really underappreciated, and the respect that really should go towards the people providing that service is lacking. All that trust, but at the same time, the thinking is, well, just anybody can clean a home. So there's a gap there. This program is one of our missions here is to close that gap, to fix that incongruency. So we're doing two things in this program. First, we're going to be giving cleaning professionals the technical knowledge they need to be professionals. You got to have the knowledge in order to do it. And a lot of that is really the why behind what we're doing. If you understand the why, there's a lot more value, the critical thinking, the ability to function at a higher level is there if you understand the why, rather than just following the procedure, not having a clue why that's the procedure to begin with. Secondly, and this is really important as well, that what we're doing in this framework is setting a standard, kind of a conduct, is setting the tone for the industry. And this is necessary to kind of get the thought process going to get this thing that's normally thought of as a job and get it to be looked upon as a profession. So in order to do this, we want to make this program accessible. We want to make it accessible to as many people as we can. We want everybody who's cleaning homes for somebody else to have this information. So that's why we're putting it online. We're breaking it up into classes. The classes have modules, and if somebody can just bounce in and out over whatever period of time it takes them to get through, the 7 classes in order to complete and get the certification. It's important to recognize that it's non-prescriptive. Think of what we're doing here as like the driver's ed manual for driving a vehicle. It's not specific to a type of automobile. It's not specific to country driving or city driving. It's just the driver's ed manual. This is the rules of the road. And we'll be sharing here in the next few slides what that looks like. But this applies to anybody who's in the business of cleaning homes professionally, regardless of business model or the tools or the chemicals or team composition. Completely non-prescriptive. So the 7 classes in the
Whoa! What was that big hand movement there, Tom? That was big. He was excited, you guys.
7, count them. 5 on this hand, 2 on this hand.
All right.
Class number 1 launches Wednesday at 12 o'clock Eastern time. So in a little less than 2 days from now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 44 hours from now and change, it's going to be going live. What is professional house cleaning, Janice? What are the big takeaways in this class?
Well, we talk about the latest research in why a clean home is important. But being a professional is really a vocation. It takes knowledge and it takes commitment. And that's what we talk about in this chapter. Matt Ricketts does the professionalism section. And we talk about just general what it means to be a professional. And we don't really apply it to being a house cleaner, a professional house cleaner, till the end. So, and we do go over some components of being a professional that, I don't know, people who are familiar with this book, Protecting the Built Environment by Dr. Michael Berry. He developed four components of being a professionalism, and we kind of based our section on his thoughts on that. And then Liz does the customer service section. So, that.
That's awesome, isn't it, Liz?
Actually, it is going to be awesome. But really, I love that professionalism section. And I think that is really the thing that, because everybody on here is business owners, I think the thing that you guys are going to love about this section is it gives your people a feeling of, wow, this really is a professional job. It's not just me cleaning toilets and them trying to make it seem like it's something more. I think it's going to be clear that it really can be a profession for a professional, but you got to act that way. That your team members, your coworkers, they're going to have to act like professionals to be treated like professionals, and not just talking about, like Janice said, it's not about house cleaning professionals. It's what do professionals look like out in the world? We need to look like that. So I really love that section a lot. Of course, I love customer service, one of my passions, but professionalism is like really big for me. Yes, Debbie, you can sign up and start the program later than Wednesday. It's just a million times cheaper, maybe not a million. It might be a slight exaggeration. It's a little bit cheaper if you sign up before Wednesday. Liz, discount code, is it pre-sale, Tom? Discount code? Yeah, it is, Denise. Anyway, I love this section.
Is hygiene a dirty word, Janice?
No, it is not. I know better ones.
I'll share them.
Clean this. This is their cleaning for health section. It contains new, the latest from the CDC on COVID-19 and new research on cleaning for health. We go over germs that professional house cleaners are. We explain what different types of germs are and talk about the types that you're more likely to run into when cleaning a home. You can't talk about health without talking about the chain of infection. So we review that and pinpoint exactly where the professional house cleaner can make the biggest difference in the home. We go over standard precautions. Anyone who has experience in the healthcare profession is familiar with standard precautions and PPEs. Everyone knows what PPEs are right now. And equipment hygiene and personal hygiene are also a part of this.
So when we did the program for COVID-19, we talked specifically about one virus, but when you talk about germs, I mean, there's all kinds of different pathogens. I mean, what are the different types of pathogens that are out there at a high level?
Well, we discussed the difference between a virus and a bacteria, and that makes a big difference based on how long they live on surfaces. And we talk about protozoa and parasites too that you might come in contact with in the home.
And a little bit about fungi as well, I guess. Mark.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that one. Sorry.
Don't forget about those guys. And we talked about the chain of infection, but chain of infection with COVID-19 is basically people, get people sick, but in a broader sense, you can, get sick because of a raw piece of chicken on a countertop, or
food safety.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many other different forms of the chain of infection in the house cleaning world. So we're going to be talking about that in a much broader context.
Right.
I'm really happy to see the word hygiene here a lot too. That seems to be a really good word right now that a lot of people are focusing on. They want to see hygienic cleaning methods and they want to feel like things are just being done hygienically. So I really like seeing this word right now. And I think it's been underused in the past.
Yeah, it has a community component to it and how it affects everyone.
Yeah, that's a great way to say that, Janice.
The definition is conditions or practices conducive to maintaining health and preventing disease, especially through cleanliness. So, yay for us, the whole thing, we're on the front line of defense in terms of preventing infectious disease. Important now more than ever.
Denny wants to know real quick, if buying for her employees, should she be putting her contact info in?
You want to, when we get to the sign up part, if you go to moderncleaning.com, there's two options. One is on the left of the screen. If you want to just buy one class, you go there. But if you're buying in bulk, you click on the one on the right, on the right-hand side of the screen, and you put your information in. And the way that happens is you send us a list of all your employees, and we'll upload all that for you. So we will enroll all your employees for you. So if you're doing it for multiple employees, go to the right-hand side of the screen and do that.
Even though this slide says, oops, how did that happen? I still thought she was dancing.
Oops. One thing that strikes me on this slide is the number of items that are on it. It's like, think of all the different ways that you can have an accident, that someone can get hurt in just cleaning homes. So, that alone, I guess tells us how important training is and the emphasis on that.
Mm-hmm.
What do we have here?
Oh, we start with general safety as an umbrella topic that kind of covers everything underneath it. We basically go over the latest OSHA training recommendations for each of these topics. For bloodborne pathogens, which we actually introduce in the previous chapter to, and we go over hazard communication and material handling, which is really important, and the safety data sheets, and the personal protective equipment we go into again. So a lot of we're re-emphasizing things that they learned in the previous chapter, and introducing just some very important safety procedures.
Yeah, I don't really even think about workplace violence, or I hadn't before, until we had somebody pull a knife on one of our employees in Atlanta, in our Atlanta office. It was really scary. And, ever since then, I'm like, wow, you really need to have a workplace violence program in place, because here we are, all the leaders of this company, all kind of scrambling, trying to do the right thing. And, it was scary. So I really love that that's on there.
And as business owners, we're all scrambling, trying to find ways to save money and to be more profitable. And one of the lowest hanging fruits out there is to have a really good safety program and to make sure that you're keeping your cleaning professionals safe, because if you don't have workers' comp claims, your rate goes down, and that's one of the larger components of the labor burden on your payroll. I mean, this is real money here if you can do a good job of managing this. Not to mention just the whole social and moral obligation as an employer to do everything that you need to be doing to keep your people safe.
And the legal obligation, really, if you're operating your cleaning company, by law, you have to have a safety program.
And if you don't, you can be facing, fines from the government. You can be open to civil litigation. You could be deemed to be negligent, in which case they can come after you for what they call treble damages, and even pierce the veil of the corporation and sue you personally. I mean, there's a lot of crazy things that can happen, so you got to be serious about safety. Mm-hmm. Science of cleaning, chemistry, physics of cleaning. Wow. What do we got here?
I don't want this section to be intimidating to people, because we keep it basic, but it's important information, because it helps people identify the type of soil they're dealing with, so that they know what type of chemical to use. And that's why the pH scale is so important. Once people understand the pH scale, choosing a chemical to clean a soil and a surface with becomes so much easier. And so we go over that in very basic terms, so that people can understand it, because it can be intimidating. And then we talk about what some common cleaning components are in cleaning chemicals and what they do. So that's another way that enables you to choose a good cleaner for what you want to do.
But you're not saying, though, Janice, you're not going to be talking about things like Clorox cleanup or Barkeeper's Friend. You're not going to be talking about specific cleaners, are you?
No, we're going to put them in categories. We're talking in broad categories, but okay. People should be able to put their favorite cleaner into a category, and and read about it.
Yeah, again, this is like the driver's ed manual. This is non-prescriptive. We'll talk about general purpose cleaner, and everybody might have their favorite, brand of general purpose cleaner. We'll just address it as window cleaner, general purpose cleaner, disinfectant. There's different types with different properties. We'll get into that a little bit. But again, non-prescriptive, and I guess even more importantly, this is designed for the cleaning professionals, the people that are actually out there cleaning homes every day. So we're going to break this down, as Janice said, into the basic components of this. We're not going to get too crazy in terms of making this complicated. We're going to present this in simple bite-sized pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And what makes a cleaning product work better, or what interferes with the work a cleaning product is supposed to do. General cleaning products. We talked about the different types of disinfectants because there are new disinfectants on the market now. How long has it been since we wrote the Professional House Cleaning Technicians Manual? So we're going to talk about those. Natural products, principles of cleaning, what happens once you choose your cleaning product, and then proper disinfection.
Okay.
The method of disinfecting.
And a lot of this, I guess, is really getting into the why again, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Contents and surfaces. I've seen a lot of training programs. I mean, Liz and I do a lot of training for a lot of different companies. I haven't seen many in-house training programs that speak a whole lot to this particular section, which is kind of interesting.
Well, Tom, you saying that, I can tell you that even the business owners that I have worked with and talked with don't know a lot of this stuff. They can't identify. Like if I point at my counter and say, what is this surface? They're like, other than counter, they don't have a lot to go on. So I really think everybody's going to appreciate this, not just our house cleaning professionals. So I think this is going to be super, super exciting section. Sorry, Janice. I'm just excited about this one.
What do we have here, Janice?
We start with the cleaning cycle, which is a certain way of thinking about the condition of a surface so that you know how to clean it more efficiently and effectively. And we talk about specific types of floors and counters and cabinets and their characteristics and what works best to clean them, and some problems you can run into. So, and the same thing with their contents and furnishings.
So obviously there's different types of soils that wind up on different types of surfaces. So the combinations of all of those, I guess, can there's many of those. It's important to understand what surfaces you're dealing with to make sure that you're using the right tools and the right chemicals to remove particular soil in a responsible way without damaging the surface. Is that correct?
Correct.
So I guess we do this on a regular basis, and sometimes I guess we get undesirable outcomes, right?
Right. And it helps professional house cleaners not experiment in the field.
Please don't experiment in the field.
Help them be better able to identify the proper cleaning technique and the cleaning chemical.
And I know you guys all have great stories of somebody using that green you have on a counter or a faucet, right? Some nice stainless steel. Yeah.
So we've talked about chemicals, we've talked about all the different types of soils, and part of that is like all of the germs, all of the pathogens that we're dealing with. We've talked about the surfaces that we're going to be cleaning. So now with class 6, we're introducing what, Janice?
We're talking about quality in this one. You know, what do you do to create meet the customer's expectations? And service quality is a really big part of this one. We introduced standard operating procedures and scope of work in the professionalism section. And here we really go into, we describe what each one is so that people, no matter what you call it, whether you call it a customer worksheet or a work ticket or a checklist, you'll be able to know, oh, okay, that's my scope of work. So, and how, again, it goes back to why it's important in delivering quality.
So, and I guess I see productivity and ergonomics, and my background back when I had a real job was like in industrial engineering, so that was a lot of what that was about. So again, all of this is very non-prescriptive. Think of it as the driver's ed manual, and we're talking about procedures, methods, productivity. This is like best practices, regardless of what your standard operating procedure looks like, what products you use, what equipment you use, team composition, regardless of how you train your people. This is kind of the overview, helping your cleaning professionals understand, showing them the why behind why you do what you do.
Right. Tom and I were talking about this earlier. There is a right way and a wrong way to do things sometimes, but there's more than one right way to do things oftentimes. And so that's what we discuss. And so it is non-prescriptive. It's very general.
Another thing I really like about this particular class is that you can gain some credibility. Some of these terms are things that you may have heard of and maybe aren't using regularly in your own company, but you could be. Scope of work, you have a scope of work, even if you've never thought of it in that way. The things that you're doing in your company all the time, that's your scope of work. And so giving it this more professional name can actually raise your own feeling of professionalism and your company's professionalism along with it. Hey, right. Ursula.
And specifically understanding how it fits into delivering a quality product or quality service is actually, that was kind of a important moment for me in terms of understanding these things.
We define quality service in terms of expectations and perceptions, and basically if you're on the same page with your client in terms of what the expectations are, and if you're able to meet those expectations and get your client to understand that you've met those expectations, then you've provided quality service. And everything that we're doing in this program contributes to that. And what Liz was alluding to earlier really gets into creating more credibility, which leads to more trust. And we began the discussion talking about the high level of trust that consumers place in cleaning professionals to clean their home. And the more credible you are, the more you can show that you're being trustworthy because you understand what you're doing, you've got procedures in place, and you're well trained. You're just going to get better outcomes. And you get the benefit of a doubt at that point. If the customer knows you're good, they're going to be a lot less critical, and they're going to be happy that you're good. It's going to be a lot more difficult for you to have an unsatisfied customer at that point. It's almost like a virtuous circle. It feeds on itself.
Yeah. They're just not as picky, y'all.
Right.
That's the bottom line. They don't go looking for what you did wrong because they already know you did it right. Ursula, the answer to your question about if we're including in the program procedures for the employees, the procedures are going to be like broad. So it's not going to be very specific. Like, we're not going to be saying that you have to use a magic eraser on these surfaces and you have to use a microfiber this way. It's not going to be very specific. There will be some procedures that are shown, but not very specific. Things that you're going to be able to modify for your company.
This way or the highway or anything like that. They're used as examples, but again, there are several right ways to do a lot of